Previously, the group discussed the upcoming mayoral election over breakfast. Isaac explained to them what the rules were for running for mayor. Essentially, that you needed to have lived in the town for at least 5 years, and then waved them off when several people suggested that he run. When asked, he said that he thought his mother would be a good candidate. After some pushing from the others, he agreed to introduce them to her and let them make an appeal. They headed off to Moonstone Creations and Reparations, where Isaac introduced them to his mother, Alondra. She was hesitant at first when they brought up the idea of her running for mayor, but she seemed to become more interested in the idea after they pointed out why it would be a good thing. Then, like magic, noticeably magic, as several of the group picked up on, she changed her mind and said that she couldn't betray her friend Sarah, the mayor's wife, like that. Cass unconsciously started to cast Detect Magic, but Alondra picked up on it, startling them with her accusation as they hadn't even noticed they were doing it. They quickly told her, and the rest of the group, that unexpected magic sometimes happened, and the madam could attest to it. The group made their excuses and left soon afterwards, Tyr quietly sending a message to Isaac that they needed to talk in private. The group decided to meet in Eversong and Tyr's room at the inn. On the way there, Tyr cast Detect Magic and noticed that everyone around them, including Isaac, had enchantment magic on them. Something he hadn't noticed just a week earlier when he'd previously cast the same spell and wandered around town with it. At the end, the group discussed what they'd noticed, including the fact that Isaac seemed to be enchanted in some way. They asked him about his thoughts on running for mayor, and his responses were very wishy-washy. Something that all of them immediately picked up on, as it was very out of character. Kess muttered something under their breath, asking for some help, and then they reached out and touched Isaac's shoulder, breaking the enchantment with lesser restoration, not that they knew what they cast at the time. Tyr rushed off to see if he could find more information at the mayor's house, because splitting the party always works well. As soon as the spell broke on Isaac, he realized something odd was going on. The group threw some ideas back and forth, but they couldn't agree on when the enchantment was placed. The mayor had been in his position for 15 years, and he'd run unopposed for 8 years, so it could be something long-lasting, or something cast every few years when the election came up. If it was the latter, though, why wasn't most of the group affected? Cass pointed out that the madam had been in town for 7 years, so she might be a good place to start. If she was affected by the magic, then it was clearly newer, since she hadn't even been in town when the mayor first started running unopposed. The group realized that the majority of them knew how to cast Detect Magic as a ritual, so they could probably wander around town and see if they noticed any patterns when it came to who was affected and who wasn't. Then everyone brought up the weird accidental magic that Kess kept casting and asked, what the fuck? They held up their left hand, showing a skull-shaped brand on their palm, and explained that they might have touched something that they shouldn't have a year and a half or 2 earlier. Oops. It happens. There was a cut to Tyr, who was heading towards the mayor's house. And that's where we left off.